Hello there! Welcome to my first astronomy video on this channel. In this astronomy playlist, we'll be looking at stars, objects, and other fun things about our universe, and we'll learn more about them. As we start, we're going to talk about first our solar system, more specifically from Earth, and from there we're going to keep going up and bigger until we get out of our solar system, our galaxy, and touch other super far objects, which are really fun to talk about. Ironically, today I will not be talking about anywhere near our solar system. In fact, I will talk about a special, very far away subject, one of the most fascinating and time-extended studied topics in our visible universe. That would be the Andromeda Galaxy. I know that I just said that we were going to start in our solar system first, but I did not know how well this video was gonna be, and as my first astronomy video, I'm still working in my editing skills, so I decided to touch in a more interesting topic that not a lot of people know about, or at least most of the people I know not know about, and just go from there. Also, this as my first astronomy video, I don't have much experience doing that, so I would really like you to correct me if there are any mistakes or misinformation put in the video. If there are any pictures that are not accurate, or any other things that I intended to be accurate, please tell me in the comments or even message me, so I can later possibly send a correction video. I don't want to spread any misinformation or anything like that. Alright, so without any further delay, let's talk about the Andromeda Galaxy. Alright, so what is the Andromeda Galaxy? Once again, in an astronomy series, I will be talking in detail, or at least all the important parts, but I wanted to do it in the most comprehensible way for you to understand. I don't want to have to use a lot of fancy words or a lot of vocabulary that most people are going to know, so if there's something fancy over there, I will explain. The Andromeda Galaxy, also known as the Messier 31, M31, or NGAC 22, is a beautiful buried spiral galaxy, meaning it has a central bar shaped composed of stars, which is similar to our galaxy, except that our barrel spiral Milky Way has an estimated visible diameter of 100 to 200,000 light years, but only about 1,000 light years thick, while Andromeda has a diameter of about 220,000 light years wide, and also 1,000 light years thick, making it slightly larger than our home. If you don't know how much is a light year, here's a representation. A light year is equivalent to 9.40 trillion kilometers, or, if you're dumb, 5.88 trillion miles. We'll be using a lot of light years and other measurements and words to describe certain things on these astronomy videos. So if you are uncertain about something or some confusing word comes up, there will be a tip or a hint in the top left corner containing the meaning of the word and why it isn't necessary. So I don't have to be explaining every video, every meaning of every word. Anyway, back to Andromeda. It was originally called the Andromeda Nebula, of which the galaxy's name stems from the area of Earth sky in which appears, of which itself is named after the Ethiopian Phoenician princess who was the wife of the Perseus in Greek mythology. It was actually first discovered a long time ago, back around the year of 964, after the Persian astronomer Abd al-Rahman al-Sufi, I have no idea how to spell that, please forgive me, was the first to refer the Andromeda Galaxy as a nebulous smear, or small cloud. In his book Fixed in Stars, it is kind of insane how much and how such an early astronomer was able to discover such thing, even if it didn't know what it was back then. Again, with this technology at the time, it is quite impressive. Much later, in 1612, after a famous German astronomer who you might know, Simon Marius, gave an early descriptions of the galaxy based on telescopic observations. After many other people studied the galaxy and wanted to find more about it, just 3 years after, Galileo heralded the era of the astronomical observations through telescopes. Only just about 3 centuries later, V.M. Slipher incorporated the observations of M31 in his classic radial velocity research. A radial velocity is the relative speed of an object along with the line of sight between the observer and the object. Slipher discovered that Andromeda had a higher radial velocity than any other known object at the time, hinting its true nature. But rounding back, in 1764, Charles Messier, a French astronomer, catalogued Andromeda as an object M31, and incorrectly credited Marius as a discovery despite it being visible to the naked eye. Charles was a big deal, and he was the astronomer who published an astronomical catalog consisting of 110 nebula and star clusters, which came known as the Messier objects, or Messier objects, whatever how to spell that. Messier's purpose for the catalog was to help observers distinguish between permanent and transition visually diffuse objects in the sky. After some other astronomers studied it correctly and incorrectly guessed things about Andromeda, in 1885 a supernova was spotted in Andromeda. If you don't know what a supernova is a powerful and luminous stellar explosion. This astronomical event occurs during the last dying stages of a massive star or when a white dwarf is triggered into a runaway nuclear fusion, making a massive big explosion that can go light years wide and can even outshine entire galaxies. But unfortunately, we were still a bit dumb at the time, and supernova was considered to be a nearby object, so the cause was thought to be a much less luminous and unrelated event called a nova, and was named accordingly Nova 1885. But finally, on December 30th, 1924, the American astronomer Edwin Powell Humboldt finally conclusively determined that Andromeda was a separate galaxy beyond the Milky Way and reveals to everyone that we are not alone, and that Andromeda, like the Milky Way, was just one of many other galaxies visible in our universe. It sure took a long way and a lot of studying to see what Andromeda actually was, but there are some things in the universe that just takes a lot of technology to discover. There are things that even inside our solar system, with our methods of discovering planets, didn't realize until 1930 that Pluto was discovered or even seen for the first time. A little detail of which I plan on covering someday, but now we move on to our next segment. Facts about the Andromeda Galaxy. Now, some things to know about Andromeda. The Andromeda Galaxy is about 5 to 10 billion years old. While it is very much uncertain to guess its age like that, it contains perhaps 1 trillion stars, well more than the estimated 300 billion of the Milky Way, and it has at least 19 satellite galaxies orbiting it. Andromeda is the largest member of the local group of clustered galaxies that contains about 30 galaxies that are gravitationally bound to each other. The local group also includes the Milky Way, but it mostly consists of small faint galaxies, of which are called dwarfs. And speaking of gravity, both Andromeda and Milky Way are approaching to each other in about 110 kilometers per second, or if you're dumb, 68 miles per second. And astronomers and scientists expect them to collide in about 4 billion years, eventually merging to form a giant, beautiful galaxy. A likely outcome of the collision is that the galaxies will merge to form a giant elliptical galaxy, or perhaps even a larger disk galaxy. But unfortunately, we have no idea what would happen to our solar system in the event of the collision. But there is small chance of our system being either ejected from the Milky Way or joining Andromeda as a new home. Andromeda's fate with the collision to our galaxy is certainly fascinating, but unfortunately we won't be there to see it. And even though there are some people trying to make at least close images of what would actually look like seeing from Earth, humanity would already have gotten interstellar in about 4 billion years, out of the solar system, and be incredibly advanced. But Earth will already been probably destroyed because of human stupidity and our lack of taking care of our own home. But even then, we will still have only about 3 to 4 billion more years until the Sun will start becoming a red giant, which means that the Sun will get bigger and cooler at the same time. The core of the star will shrink, but its outer layers will expand to our orbit of Mars, engulfing our planet in the process. When that happens, as a red giant, our Sun will become about 2,000 times bigger than it is now. But that's a topic for another day, as I also plan on covering our little big bright friend in the future. Back to Andromeda. The Hubble Space Telescope was used to image the Andromeda Galaxy's inner nucleus, and like our galaxies, contains a supermassive black hole at the center. The central black hole has always been a bit odd when compared to other central black holes in similar galaxies based on its X-ray luminosity. It is much fainter in radio waves than expected. Another fun fact is that the mass of Andromeda is much smaller than the Milky Way, surprisingly. In other words, even though the star tells a different story, the overall mass shows that the Milky Way is likely as massive and the most massive estimates for Andromeda. If radio observations of Andromeda are correct, our galaxy may even be nearly twice as massive as Andromeda in solar masses. If you don't know what a solar mass is approximately equal to 2 times 10 to the power of 30 kilograms. It is often used to indicate the masses of other stars, as well as the stellar clusters, nebulae, galaxies, and black holes. Truly a scary and incomprehensive big number. But even so, there are still some things we don't know about this galaxy, but we will continue to study in the future. But as for now, we have gorgeous and amazing pictures of the galaxy. But with our X-ray telescopes, we've also detected some candidates for neutron stars, black holes, and more. A notable one would be the binary system that was discovered in high-energy X-rays and ultraviolet. A binary system, if you're not familiar with it, is a solar system like ours, but with two astronomical bodies that are close enough that their attraction causes them to orbit each other around the barycenter. For example, it will look like this in the sky if we were looking up from a planet in a binary system. Yep, 2 stars, like Star Wars. This is truly one of the most fascinating objects in the sky, and there's so much to talk about Andromeda that I could make this video about 2 hours long if I wanted to. But I want to make these videos in a fair length so that everyone can watch without being too long or too bothered. So I will put every trustworthy source that I used to do some of the research for this video, and the source of the pictures I've also used. And I hope you liked my content, and thank you, and I'll see you next time.
I guess you wonder where I've been. I searched to find the love within.